Let's now move on to some more techniques where the tongue is actually traveling on and off the harmonica. Our goal is to go between chords and single notes, and that's something that's very commonly used in blues harmonica playing or traditional folk. For the slap, by the way, there's three common techniques used in traditional harmonica playing. I'm very specifically talking about blues right now, is the slap, the pull, and the octave. We've already explored the octave. Let's take a look at a slap. So a standard tongue block is where my lips are over 4 holes. I'm going to block holes 1, 2, and 3. Sounds like this on the harmonica. Okay. Now if I precede that single note with my tongue off the harmonica, and I exhale in this case, you'll hear a chord sound, and then my tongue will be placed on the face of the harmonica. So you get a chord leading to a single note. On the harmonica it sounds like this. You can do that on a draw as well, and we do it on the draw as well. The technique is identical, we're just changing the direction of our airstream. Blow, draw. Now I know we're calling this a slap, where we're hitting it really hard. Well, we're not hitting it hard. The slap is just a term I gave to it many years ago, because that was the motion the tongue was traveling in. Again, always use a light touch, that's very important. Now from that slap technique, which is used all over the place in blues harmonica, we can also do the technique called the flutter. That's where the tongue comes on and off the harmonica. It's that same slap, just multiple times over. Again, using a light touch. Make sure that hole on the right side stays open all the time. In slaps, we'll commonly use a little bit of a puff of air to pronounce each one of those slaps. Each one of those slaps, hull, 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 has a little burst of air. In the flutter, the tongue coming on and off the harmonica, but the airstream is staying constant. Here's a 4-blow flutter. In slow motion, and a little faster. And now on the harmonica, again both blow and draw. Joe Filisko calls that rapid vamping. He calls the slap vamping. The next technique that's very similar to the on and off sound of the flutter is what Joe Filisko calls the tongue shake. There's a couple ways to approach this. This is where the tongue goes left to right on the face of the harmonica, essentially tongue switching. Remember, watch your jaw, don't let your jaw move. And it's pinging back and forth between the first hole and the fourth hole. This is what it sounds like. I'm going to do the blow, 4 blow to 1 blow. On the harmonica, or excuse me, on the tongue block trainer slowly. Yeah, so you're alternating between the 1 and the 4. Another way to do it is to use a lighter touch, just using the very tip of the tongue, so you're getting more of a chord as it goes across the face of the harmonica. With the harmonica, with the tongue block trainer, so you see more chord or multiple notes happening. The way that Joe Filisko performs this, and if you've just watched the Kim Wilson interview at bluesharmonica.com, is they post their tongue basically in an octave embouchure. So the tongue is in holes 2 and 3, for example. And then the tongue, the middle of the tongue, if I change my angle, moves left and right as the tongue stays stationary on the tip. So what that does is it closes the hole off on this side, only sounds this side. Tongue moves this way and it opens up that hole. So you're getting that pinging effect by moving the body or the center of the tongue left to right. Now I wish I could demonstrate it because I can't do it that way. So sometimes this technique, some people find the on and off motion more comfortable, and that's the way that I play it and most players play it. And some find it more comfortable to move left to right. Some famous players, Joe Filisko of course, Kim Wilson, Little Walter, Dennis Groomling, they will tend to use the side-to-side motion more often than the on and off. So that's an interesting technique, and again, Joe Filisko calls that the tongue shake, and I call that the side flutter. Our next most important tongue block technique of the 3 that I mentioned, slaps, pulls, and octaves, in this case is the pull. Let's start with the cousin of the pull, or what we'll use to precede the pull, which is called the lift. And the lift is simply where the tongue lifts off the harmonica from a single hole tongue block. So if I play hole 4, for example, blocking holes 1, 2, 3, my tongue simply lifts off. And again, I'm going to continue breathing like the flutter. It sounds like this. That was on hole 4 with the tongue block trainer. And this is commonly used, as Joe Filisko calls it, rhythmic folk vamping. For example, so I'm keeping a consistent airstream, ha-la-la-la-la, and it's a nice rhythmic effect. In the blues world, we will commonly perform the same technique, but with one little addition, and it's that of the pull, where we actually are sticking the tongue out a little bit further so that all the holes get blocked, so that when the tongue releases off the face of the harmonica, we get a nice articulation. This is what it sounds like. Here's if I do the slap on the downbeat and the lift on the upbeat. Let me do it on the tongue block trainer. So this is the slap on the downbeat and the lift on the upbeat. So that fourth hole always stays sounding. It's the same as a flutter, just slowed down a little bit, isn't it? On the tongue block trainer one more time. If we put a shuffle rhythm to it, now listen to when I add that little extra piece that we call the pull. Now it has that rhythmic drive that we love so much in our shuffles and our swings. So here's what's happening. After I perform the slap, the tongue will then cover all the holes, a full block, and then it will release off the face of the harmonica. Slowly, slap on the downbeat. Then I'm going to block all the holes by simply just sticking my tongue out. I'm going to blob my tongue over all the holes. Slap, cover all the holes for a full block, and pluck off. So again, it's just the tongue leaving the face of the harmonica to create that chord that we place commonly on the upbeat. But I'm using that extra amount by sticking the tongue out to give me some nice articulation. So you're thinking about your tongue covering all the holes in the harmonica, or think about your tongue sticking out enough to create a nice seal on the inner lips. So here's what it looks like without the tongue block trainer or harmonica. Slap, then I stick my tongue out. Without the harmonica, I have to center my tongue a little bit, but that doesn't happen when I do it with the tongue block trainer. With the tongue block trainer, with the harmonica. The pull by itself, and used in combination with the slap. And again, that's that technique. That you're hearing that really adds that rhythmic drive to our blues harmonica playing.